Hey, business building warrior. This is Jim, and welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. If you're new around here, this is the only podcast that I've ever heard that features story after story after story from real world business building warriors who are using the internet creatively to launch and grow multiple streams of income, starting specifically with Amazon. They're all students, hundreds of episodes, and they're students of the Proven Amazon course, which is the flagship course of our community. We've got over 73,000 of us who gather in our free public Facebook group. There's a link to that at silentjimdotcom. And we've got, like I said, hundreds of episodes where we've interviewed those successful students right on this show. Today is not an interview so much with successful students, although this couple were at one point Proven Amazon course students and then coaching students and now coaches and then coaching team leaders. They've really risen in the ranks over the years. They've got a beautiful story that you can hear on past episodes. They are also frequent guest hosts on the show, which we love to see around here. They've interviewed successful students and shared some great content over the past several months, especially. I'm talking about Brian and Robin Joy Olson. They're also going to be some featured speakers at our upcoming conference, which is going to be here in just a few days as I'm recording this. So if you're not registered yet for the Proven Conference, get over to theprovenconference.com and get your tickets to go to Columbus, Ohio with us July 6th through 8th, or watch the live stream. Either way, you get all the event recordings. So lock in some great discounts before the event gets here. Do not wait. Jump in now. We'll talk more about that during the episode as well. But what we have for you today, as I talk with Brian and Robin Joy, is a new program that we're rolling out that allows you to go to an intense 2-day workshop with Brian and Robin Joy to go from really not knowing much to being very confident in finding winning, test-worthy replens, test-worthy ASINs. Get your business going. Get through that period of intense focused effort as quickly as you possibly can over a 48-hour period with just a few other people in the room and Brian and Robin Joy as your teachers. It's something we've never done with them before. It is an idea they came up with, and we loved the concept. It's actually going to be at our coaching headquarters in Utah, where our coaching director, who's been with me for almost 20 years, Nathan Bailey, he has his warehouse there. You're going to be in that environment with other people from our team there in a small group setting. If that's something that interests you, there's going to be a link in the show notes. You can go fill out an application so we can get to know you a little bit. We're not going to sign you up until we have a conversation with you and make sure that it's a really good fit for you and make sure that the class isn't full, for example. But you can go to this website. Are you ready? provenamazoncourse.com/100. That's 100. provenamazoncourse.com/100. Because the goal is to get you from 0 test-worthy ASINs to 100 replens, which is a $10,000 to $20,000 a month sales business at typically 15 to 30% or so net margins. This is a business that fits into the cracks of your lifestyle, meaning if you just got a few hours here and there, you can do it. But if you're ready for a 2-day intense focused journey that gets you from 0 up to speed really fast, well, we've never offered anything like this before. And that's what Brian and Robin Joy are going to talk to me about today, that journey from 0 to 100. And they're also going to tell us a little bit about the sessions that they're going to be teaching at the conference to get you interested, a little teaser for what's ahead with that as well. So enjoy this episode where I get to hang out with 2 dear friends of mine, 2 tremendous leaders from our community, Brian and Robin Joy Olson. Enjoy the episode. So Brian and Robin Joy, good to see you guys again.
Always good to see you, Jim.
Thanks for having us back. Wow.
I'm looking forward to this, man. It's just always such a beneficial time for us as a group, but then for the listeners as well, the feedback we get when we get leaders together with other leaders. And today we've got some pretty exciting stuff. I'd love to turn it over to you guys. Just go. Tell us what you got for us.
Go. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, at a high level, Jim, what we are kind of excited, not kind of excited. We're
very
extremely excited about a workshop approach to what kind of the first 4 to 6 coaching sessions that we typically give to our coaching clients. And there are a number of highly desirable outcomes that you get from going through 4 to 6 coaching sessions. That usually takes 4 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks to get through that. And Robin and I were chatting for a long time, like, wow, if we could just sort of compress that 4 to 6, 8 weeks into a much shorter period of time, then we think we would see results much faster. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, we haven't compressed it into 2 days until what we're going to do a little bit later this year. But everything that we are teaching or coaching in that 2-day workshop is basically forklifted out of our coaching curriculum, if you will.
Yeah. So Robin, at this point, how many guys have you coached? How many people have you guys coached?
Oh, hundreds.
Right. Yeah. More than I ever did.
We just love it so much. I do it all day long. I just can't get enough of it.
And we're so blessed. We've got such a great coaching team and we're generating great results, but there's this need for several people like, I want to do it faster. And that's what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's not clear, we're putting together a workshop where people can spend a couple of days with us and we can show them how we source and find items to test, how we decide whether they're testable ASINs or not, and then also how we do the testing process. So that's what we're putting together.
What of those hundreds of folks that we've worked with over the years, what we found is that those first 4, 6, 8 weeks, that I keep saying that period of time, I'm just going to say 4 to 8 weeks from now on. Okay, 4 to 8 weeks is where the kind of the biggest learning curve of getting started is. And if we struggle to keep someone engaged, it is usually in that time period. And so we've been fortunate enough to be exposed to a lot of other members and methods within the community here that really help us to cut down that learning curve.
Yeah. And this can be a very scary time when you're first getting started too, because, you work with us for an hour and then you have a week where you're kind of going, well, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not really, don't know. And then it's another week before you get back with us and we talk about some more and build on that. But in this 2-day workshop, we can put those things back to back. So you can do the work, get the feedback, build on that, get the feedback, all right in a row and have that all in a package before you leave.
It's like we're condensing what we're doing here. And we've done it successfully in the past. And we had a season of offering something similar, not exactly what we're describing here, but it went really well. The feedback was tremendous. Some of the best success stories we have in our community right now are people. I was actually at lunch with one of them here a couple months ago, who's doing a couple $100,000 a month OA and a couple $100,000 a month RA replan business. And it's running at scale and pretty much automated, a family business. Beautiful. And they went to one of our, it's been a couple of years ago, these live weekends, 2-3 day, like that's just intensive, get it all, be in a small group with a handful of others and just plow through. I like to call it that period of intense focused effort.
That's it.
And if you can condense that down into like, bring your thinking cap, get ready to focus. Let's get through this period that everyone has to go through. And, we've seen people go through that on their own. They just listen to the podcast and make a bunch of mistakes over the course of 9 months and figure it out eventually. That's great. We applaud that. We love those success stories. But there's others that say, you know what? I understand the value of having a mentor or a coach or someone who can just plow me through this process. And that's what our coaching program is. But what if we could condense that down into a small group setting over a couple of days? And that's what you guys are building out. I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, it's like when you're cooking and you put, what's it called when you reduce something and it becomes very rich and tasty. Like this kind of what we're doing with those first 4 to 8 weeks. We're putting it into 2 days, and when you come out, it's so rich and thick, and you just have all this knowledge and
confidence. And you have the confidence to do it.
It's what we teach is a very systematic approach to identifying test-worthy ASINs, and then once you have this sort of system down, like a checklist, you go, does it meet this? Does it meet this? Does it meet this? And you basically go until you hit a red light. And if there are no red lights, then you say, this is a passing, this is a test-worthy ASIN for me. The second part of that is then actually pulling the trigger sooner rather than later. Because I mentioned before we actually started recording, like a lot of our coaching clients, over the years, we've changed our approach over the time. It's because we've learned some things along the way. And one of those things is we used to say, you know what, let's find 12, 15, 20 test-worthy ASINs first, and then we'll send in a shipment. And that tended to back things up right from the get-go because we were trying to save on inbound shipping and make it worth the shopping trips and the prepping time and all that good stuff. But really, the most beneficial thing of getting started in the Amazon business doing FBA is the feedback loop. So how fast can you get through a cycle? You source, you identify a test-worthy ASIN, you shop for it, you prep it, you send it in, you manage the testing, repricing, and all that kind of stuff, and then it sells, and it either passed your test or it doesn't. Completing that loop as many times as you can in a short amount of time as you can is how you will have the confidence to go and apply this to any.
And getting that person, this fits into my personality type of how I coach. Because so often I see people getting ready to launch a business, and they stay in that cycle of like, oh, but I got to talk to a lawyer. Oh, but I got to talk to an accountant. Oh, but the attorney general of my state wants me to fill out some paperwork. Like, no, sell something. Sell something. So just list it, get something out there, get that first. But Jim, what if it doesn't sell? Drop the price, you'll get your money back. Like, get something out there. And I'm on board with that. The sooner we can get somebody getting that validation, that little sound they've never heard before, and like, what is that? Oh, I just made a sell. Something just sold. Oh, wow, I just made $8.
That's
the most exciting $8 you ever make in your life. That first replay, right? So I'm totally on board with this. Like, don't wait for that 12 to 15. I completely agree. Let's send something in.
And that came as a result of you doing the boot camp.
Right. Yeah. So Delia put together the Kickstart boot camp, and then I started working with those folks and realized that it was all about just get the first one in. Just find one and send it in and get through that. And it made me realize you don't need to have 50 or 60 items. Just figure out how that first one goes. And that takes a lot of the pressure off. And that takes a lot of the fear away to be able to just do one. Even if you don't make any money, you try to protect your capital, make sure you have evidence that you're not going to lose money. We have a system to look at 3 different points to make sure it's test worthy. And then we found that if we just take the pressure off and let people go 5 tests a week, you don't have to find 100, go find 5.
Yeah.
So
slow and steady. Absolutely.
It is slow and steady, right? And even at just 5 tests per week, in 6 months, you can have a nice 5-figure business in terms of sales.
Net profit.
And that's going to vary a little bit. I was just thinking of top line sales. Maybe you're 15,
top line, 10, 20,000.
15, 20,000 a month in 6 months. And not only do you have that kind of sales velocity and sales momentum, now you are moving out of the sort of phase of working in your business to working on your business. And you become able to identify little areas in your business where you can improve efficiency, where you can save a few pennies here and a few pennies there. And it's crazy how just when you've got a business to look at versus one ASIN, your life is completely different. Your business is completely different. And so we just need to, we say this all the time to coaching clients, which is go make a mess. Go make a mess. We can clean it up later. We can tweak it later. Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I was just having a talk with a mentor of mine yesterday, just talking about how, the way the internet has changed the game. The rules of business have always been the same, and they always will be. The internet introduced the possibility of being able to use your phrase, make a mess. And I say, make mistakes, fail, fail a lot, fail constantly, because the cost of failure is so minimal. Now, don't fail by spending $40,000 on filling your garage with from China. We're not talking about that kind of failure. The private label, go big or go home. No. It's not needed anymore. Fail on this $8 product that you think might sell for 22, and you send it in. And let's see what happens.
Right. Exactly.
No, let's, and once you get going, and I know you guys like your word images, and I do as well. But the word image I have, as I was listening to you guys talk about getting that first sale, it's kind of like the first fish you might catch. You take your kid fishing, I don't care if it's this big. Like
it's so exciting.
It wasn't worth the worm and the bait and the hook that we used to get out here and the gas from the boat. But yeah, it was, because look, first fish. And that leads to, it could a lifetime of enjoying a new sport, right? And that's kind of what this is like. Let's get that first thing, those first positive feedbacks coming in as soon as possible. If we can condense that down from, the 9 months from a free podcast listener down to, okay, 3 to 4 months if you buy the course. Okay, we can get some really good stuff done. Let's say you get the kickstart, we can cut that time in half. Maybe you get a coach, you're rocking in about a month if you're paying attention and working it. How about we do it over a weekend? And it's not for everybody, obviously, but I think there's going to be a good number of people that say, yeah, I'll get on an airplane or drive out to, we're going to be doing this in Utah, correct? Is the first one?
Yeah, Salt Lake City is going to be the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
And do we have a date nailed down for that?
September, mid-September.
Mid-September. We're not sure exact on the dates, but
it's currently set for 15, 16 of September.
Okay. But so we'll let people know with more details on the website. I mentioned that, I'm sure, in the intro, but it's provenamazoncourse.com/100, just the number 100. So 3 digits, 100. provenamazoncourse.com/100. It's got some details. There's no buy button there because we want to have a conversation with you, make sure it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Right.
But
what else can you tell us about it?
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we talk about go and make a mess, and that's great. I mean, any of us can just go make a mess. But what we've done is allowed you to kind of play in a safe pool. We've put it into a system where you can make choices that, they're not all going to pass your test. Some of them will pass your test and they'll go onto your replens list. Some of them you'll just get your money back and go try again. But we can help you play in the kiddie pool for a little while. We're going to make sure we have good evidence that you're not going to lose money, testing ASINs. So you may not make money on some of them, but you'll make money on most of them. And even the ones that don't pass, you're going to make money on a little bit of money on those, even if it's not enough to make your replens list. And by the time you get that $10,000 to $15,000 in sales or 100 ASINs, Amazon's going to have lifted a lot of restrictions on brands and categories and allowed you, because they've seen that consistent activity and sales, that they're going to you've built that trust with them, and they're going to let you sell more and more stuff.
Yeah. So the ungating issues just magically vanish without you ever even having to get nervous about it.
Exactly. One day you'll wake up and go, I can sell Starbucks. Wow.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
I can sell anything. It's all wide open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the gates all open.
Something else I just want to mention is the nature of this is very hands-on. It's intense. You mentioned, I think maybe before you hit the record button here, the intense focus effort, this period of time when we're in this, sort of hectic, frantic, dedicated, persevering business building mode, right? That this, we're kind of doing that too. I mean, there's still more intense focus effort that happens after this 2-day workshop.
Sure.
But while we're in the workshop, this is so fundamental. Like what we teach in this approach and with all of our coaching clients is fundamental. It is, you can evaluate any ASIN that you have found using any other methodology that we all know about, whether it is tactical arbitrage, tactical expander, Keepa sourcing, doing reverse sourcing on Amazon, doing the scraping tool, however it is that you want to gather your ASINs for evaluation. Now, this system says, here's how you apply a set of checks to determine, is this testable for me? Is this test worthy for me? So for that reason, we're really excited about it, because I don't care where you get your ASINs, right? It doesn't really matter. You should probably be having your own set of criteria that you're evaluating all those ASINs by. And these are our suggestions. This is what we've seen works for us. This is what we've seen works well for our coaching clients. It's just been really successful. So obviously, we said before you hit the record button, we're very passionate about this, if nothing else. Even if all the words don't come out right, we're excited.
And the thing that's being communicated without us saying it, I think, and I want to emphasize and kind of verbalize the benefit that's kind of, you have to read between the lines. People hear me talk all the time on this show. I'd say you can't go 2 or 3 episodes without hearing me mention the value and importance of relationships. Do not do this business alone. So if the only thing we were offering was go hang out for a couple days with a handful of people who are taking this serious, and 2 of the leading coaching directors on our team, coaching team leaders on our team, it's worth admission. You guys just hang out and talk business. I'm not even sure exactly what we're charging for this thing, but it's worth at least that plus a whole lot more, because I know the handful of times we've done this in the past, relationships are formed and new partnerships and strategies and bundles are launched and partner projects emerge, and just the benefit. And we see it in our coaching all the time, how these relationships just kind of form over time. And it's part of actually when I'm training our coaches, the last step when a coach comes on board, and I do one of these every couple of weeks, and we've got a new coach coming on board. And of the couple things I emphasize, one of them is this is ultimately a relationship that we're forming long term with this person. You may go into partnership with them someday. You may launch a new idea, or they may lead you into some awesome business opportunities. That's the point. You enhance their life, they enhance yours. But I just know from having studied these things a lot and being passionate about them, this is kind of my area of passion, that you get people into a room together. And I didn't used to realize this. It's something I've only recently come to, since we started doing our live event. There's so much that happens. I call it advancing your business 6 to 9 months over a weekend.
Yes.
That's what I call our live events. And that resonates with people who have done it, because that's what happens. Proximity matters.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's not on the sales page. Maybe we should include it there.
Right.
That's a lot of the benefit of this.
Yeah.
Is just the connections, the camaraderie, feeling like you're not doing it alone. You're not crazy. This does work.
Right.
Here's people who are doing it.
And the structure of this 2-day workshop, it includes small group activities. So like there's some lesson stuff, like here we're going to cover this particular topic and why are we talking about this and what's the exercise behind it. Then we break up into smaller groups and we basically chunk down a list. Here's a list of 300 or 400 ASINs. We chunk it down and this group goes to do 50 or 100 and this group does 50 to 100. And by the time we're done, we've sourced this entire list of 300 or 400 ASINs. And everyone knows how to go do it again. They leave with the ability to go pull a list of ASINs, or whether using any of the tools that I already mentioned, and go through and identify test-worthy ASINs out of that list. Now, that still takes time. There's there's a time investment. It doesn't really matter again what method you want to use to pull your ASINs. You have to spend the time to put eyeballs on it and make sure that it is validate that data. And make sure it checks all the boxes for you. You can't escape that, regardless of what system that you're going to use. But now you're equipped to go do that.
Right. I want to pay attention to the people who maybe this is one of the first episodes they've ever heard before, and we're using a couple terminologies that I want to make sure we keep everyone up to speed. And you've said test-worthy ASIN a couple times. Robin, when you're coaching somebody through and you introduce that term for the first time, like, what's your elevator pitch? What is a test-worthy ASIN? What are we talking about there?
So what I consider a test-worthy ASIN is an ASIN that I can find a source or supplier for with a price that I can use all the time. So if it's on sale, I want to know the regular price because I want to know what it's going to cost next week. The price I can use all the time. I can buy anytime I want to. I have a matching ASIN that I can sell that item on. That ASIN needs to have velocity, it needs to be moving fast enough. I want to get in and out within 30 to 45 days. The second thing it needs to have is capital protection. I want to make sure if I test this ASIN, I want to make sure I have pretty good evidence, no guarantees, that I'm not going to lose money on it. Even if it doesn't work out, I'm going to get all of my investment back. Okay. And the
worst case scenario is what I call that. What's my worst case, most likely worst case? If everything goes horribly wrong, what's the hit? And we like to see get my money back, basically.
Get my money back, right? My whole investment. And then the third thing is to make sure that there is a potential for making the profit that I'm looking for, that I'm requiring to go on my replens list. So if those three things are in place, I say, test it. If you're allowed to sell it, it's in, it's not hazmat or something that you're not allowed to sell already, and it's available to you, test it. Get it in there for 30 days and see what happens.
Yep.
And that at its most fundamental level is the, basis of of everything that this is built on. And then we layer some additional knowledge on top of that, because, as a coaching client, having been one, and Robin was too. She was my very first coaching client. Vagueness, uncertainty, fear, uncertainty, doubt is the last thing you want when you're trying to evaluate an ASIN. And so obviously, I think to be successful long-term, you need a little bit more than those three things. But those three things are the number one.
That's going to get you going a long way.
Then we start layering some other more nuanced things on top of that, like the brand of the item. Does the title match? Is it confusing to the shopper? Does it, are the reviews complaining that it's supposed to be a 3-pack, but they only got a 1-pack? There are a lot of other areas that, data points that we do like to consider eventually.
Mhm.
That's all, we build on that, and that happens over time.
And those of us who've been doing this for 6 years, we are still discovering new things like, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm done dealing with hassle X. When I was new,
Right.
I was all about it.
Yep.
Right.
But
Right.
now I'm kind of done messing with it. For us, it
Mhm.
was expiration dates on grocery. You can make a
Mhm.
lot of money on grocery,
Mhm.
but we just kind of got done with, if it's not going to be able to sit on the shelf for about a year, we have no interest in playing that game and recalling inventory. You can make a lot of money though, but it just doesn't fit into the system we've drifted into. Find someone
Right.
else, they only do grocery and they swear by it and they've built beautiful systems, right? So they'll drift into those preferences. And it's not like one's better than the other, but
Right.
But initially, is it a test-worthy ASIN? Well, let's send it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get
Let's
that
see what
validation. Because I can say this too. One other observation, guys, is I've been in this e-commerce game for 20 years now. I've seen, without exaggeration, probably 1,000 business models, most of which are just a complete shiny object, waste of time. Someone dreamed it up and they're selling a course or something. I have never seen anything that comes close to what we've been doing around here for about 7 years at this point. Consistency. And as Robin, you're the one that coined the term, the low, low, high, like low risk, low learning curve, high odds of success if you pay attention. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. There's another low for you, right? It's just low, 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 high odds of this thing working out if you'll get through that period of intense focused effort, learn the systems. This isn't intuition. This isn't scanning barcodes. This isn't finding products that resonate with you. It's not even finding good products. It's finding underserved, test-worthy ASINs. If you could understand that, this becomes a foundation for, as we've seen, some incredible success stories. Hey, sorry for the short interruption, but you're going to love what I have to share with you. Let's talk about SellerBoard. As an Amazon seller, do you know your numbers? Are you tracking your profit and loss by ASIN, cost of goods sold? How accurate are your numbers? SellerBoard helps you get extremely accurate. Starting at just $15 per month, you can know when to buy products, when not to buy products, which ones are profitable, which ones aren't. You can really start to dial in your Amazon business. Get over to silentjimdotcom/numbers and check out the latest fantastic sponsor to this program. So many Amazon sellers in our community are using it. I'm thrilled that they've become a sponsor of this program. Thanks, SellerBoard. Go check out their offer, silentjim.com/numbers. It's just low, 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 high odds of this thing working out if you'll get through that period of intense focused effort, learn the systems. This isn't intuition. This isn't scanning barcodes. This isn't finding products that resonate with you. It's not even finding good products. It's finding underserved, test-worthy ASINs. If you could understand that, this becomes a foundation for, as we've seen, some incredible success stories. And I think that's where the passion's coming from as people are listening to this. Like, wow, these guys really believe in this. Yeah.
We do. We've seen great success with our clients. And we've seen people, just in the last couple of days, I've seen it over and over. I feel so much better that I can just look at these 3 data points, make a decision, and that's all I have to do right now. I don't have to know everything about Keepa. I don't have to know how many sellers, how many, all these different things that people talk about. I don't have to know all that yet. I can choose with 3 data points, make my decision and move on. It makes it much faster, but that's not all. Here's my Billy Mays.
Nice.
But wait, there's
what
more.
else do you have for us, Robin?
The next thing that we do, and you're going to leave with, if you come join us in this boot camp, is not only the ability to make that decision. We're going to map out a plan for how many times you need to do that, how often you need to do that. And then we're going to talk to you about how the testing process works. I said I want it in and out within 30 to 45 days. Well, how does that work? How do I know? Where do I start my pricing? How often do I reprice that? What do I do if I get to 30 days and it doesn't sell? We're going to lay it all out for you so you leave armed with the ability to take step after step, week after week, do the same thing consistently, and boom, you've got $10,000 to $15,000 a month in sales and a list of 100 ASINs to choose from.
And then you're posting your results on the Facebook page, and everyone thinks you did it overnight.
Yes.
But you really didn't, right?
Jim's calling you up to get an interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where our podcast interviews come from, is excited students. They reach out to us and say, look what just happened. And they're thrilled. And we say, hey, let's share that story. And typically they say, oh, no, I've never done a podcast before. No one would want to hear my story. I've heard so many much better podcast episodes than mine will be. And we get them on the show and everybody loves them. And suddenly they're enthused and energized. Next thing you know, they're a coach. Next thing you know, they're on stage. It's just it's a beautiful flywheel of opportunity, success, and encouragement that's been built here. Just a lot of really good, humble, quality leaders like you guys. And I just can't wait to see where this goes. Here's something I love. Just again, as a guy who's been in e-commerce for 20 years, I think a lot of people would have put a price tag on this and a buy button. We're not doing that. We've got an application. We want to get to know you. We're going to talk to you on the phone. It's not going to be a high pressure thing. We just want to make sure we don't want to waste your time or ours.
Right.
We don't have to give you a refund. Like, wait, you should be teaching us. You got a $3 million a month business. This isn't for you. This is for the people on the newer end, right? So we want to get the right people in there, manage the numbers. We don't want to do this with 80 people. We want to do it with a handful at a time, some intimacy of conversation and connection. So fill out the survey that it'll take you a couple minutes, maybe tops. I looked at it yesterday and just a few questions, but have a phone call with us, someone on the team, one of the consultants. And it's provenamazoncourse.com/100, 100, 3 digits. And just fill out the form and go spend time. Now, you guys are the ones that are doing the teaching, right? No one's going to get the rug yanked out for them, and it's going to be me, and they want to see you, right?
No, we are going to be there, but there are going to be some other people that are going to be helping us out there too. We're not sure exactly which ones, but there are going to be some other coaches and leaders in the community so that there's plenty of help for everybody. And I just want to take this time to say thank you for all the people in your office, Jim, all the people in the coaching office who are working on this. There's a lot of stuff going on to make this happen so that we can, show up and do what we do. Yeah. So we want to say thank you so much.
We all play our role, and you guys are playing yours brilliantly. Hey, you look around and no one's really putting forth any kind of Herculean effort here. We're all just kind of doing the role that we're fit best at, and end up we're serving well. And the currency around here that we measure by is success stories. If we're generating student success stories consistently, we're seeing those posts in the Facebook group, and they're popping on the podcast, and they're sending us those letters of gratitude. Like, yep, what we're doing is working, guys. Keep it going. It's a beautiful flywheel. So you guys are contributing, and I say thank you. You serve with excellence. You're very thorough. And the success stories just keep on coming in from you guys and your team. And it's a thrill and an honor to work with you guys. Well, I want to refer people to the sales page for some details. We may add some things between the time this podcast is being recorded now and when it actually goes out. But this episode will come out right before the Proven Conference as well, which is July 6th through 8th, Columbus, Ohio. The website is theprovenconference.com. I've said that about 1,000 times.
So have I.
But we've got a great crowd coming. I think we're going to have well over 600 people there with us soon. Awesome. So you guys are going to be there. You're going to be talking a little bit about this at the event as well. It's not too late. We have general admission tickets left. As of now, when I'm recording this, we do anyway. It may only be live streamed by the time folks hear this. But talk to us a little bit about the event and what people can expect. And do they have to set an appointment to talk with you guys, or they can just walk up to you in the hall? Like, talk us through that.
Oh, walk up to us in the hall. Absolutely. Flag us down. We're going to be moving fast and lots going on, but we will make time to at least say hi. We want people to come and say hi to us. We appreciate all the people that care to say hello to us.
Well, and this conference is special. I feel like everyone is. This is going to be my third live one, Robin's second live. This is the second time that we will be fortunate enough to be speaking to attendees, which is a great honor to be able to do that. And we have two primary sessions, or two session topics, I should say. So one is an overview of what we're talking here today. Actionable information. It's not going to be the whole thing where we're not revealing any information, because we'll lay it all out for you here on the podcast too. Yeah. Right? There are no secrets in what we're going to even cover in the workshop. So that is 2 sessions of that. This is a proven path to 100 ASINs. How do you go from 0 to 100 ASINs, from $0 to $15,000 to $20,000 a month in 6 months? Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
5 tests a week, 5 tests a week, 5 tests a week. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to do that one twice. And then at your request, Jim, and I love retail arbitrage. And you said, when you were putting the speaking topics together, there was a topic that was missing, and that was retail arbitrage.
Mm-hmm.
And we had fairly recently done a podcast episode on why we like doing RA and why there's so much low hanging fruit in RA. And so we're gonna kind of reprise that episode to start off with. And here's a little surprise. I'm going to go off script. I tell this to Robin all the time. So I'm going to go off script on you now, Jim. You ready?
Let's go.
So we've got three.
Jim has editing power.
I know.
Yeah, it's all going to be edited anyway. None of this is even going to be in the final cut. Just kidding.
We've got 3 of our coaches who do RA, who we're actually going to bring up to the front and actually do a little Q&A after we cover some of the fundamental stuff of that topic. Yeah, have them introduce themselves, tell everyone about their business.
We have some great coaches.
Yeah, we do have some really phenomenal coaches. Everyone in the community is phenomenal. Of course, we feel very lucky to be included at all. But then, some Q&A from the people who are actually going to the stores and doing the shopping like we talk about. Us, Travis Sears, Joel Byer, and Missy Christ. So this is going to be a great group.
I didn't even know. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Any chance we have to kind of highlight and showcase the great leaders. So many of them are so humble and fine being behind the scenes, but they're building these amazing businesses. They've got beautiful families. They've changed the course of their family. This, mom goes this direction, dad goes that direction every day, which God bless you. If that's your reality, that's awesome. Do what you got to do to take care of your family. But they've drifted into this, hey, we're together under the same roof, building a business together. And we've got more free time and we're making more money than we were before. And just the dynamic that has and getting a front row seat to those great stories. So that's 3 great examples of great coaches who you guys probably know better than I do, because I spend my time with the leaders of an organization that now has 60 coaches. I can't build the relationships I'd like to have with that many people. It's just not possible. Right. So that sounds like a session I might want to come hang out in. That's great.
Hey, you can come join us too. You can field some questions, because I know you guys do some RA too, right?
Oh, I'll tell you what, man. If we had a retail arbitrage sourcing contest, I could hold my own for sure.
There you go.
I can tear it up.
Oh, we've had these contests with family members before, and torn up a jungle some store in
Jungle Gyms.
Jungle Gyms.
I've never heard of it. Yeah, I love the stores I've never heard of. Those are the best where I just go in and like replay. Yep, test this one. Yep.
But what I love about having other, different people, kind of in a panel situation to be able to answer questions is because this is a case where in all of what we do is that case, I think, but this RA specifically, we all have different experiences with RA. Some of us make relationships with the managers. Some of us have really good relationships with local stores that nobody else has access to. Some of us just kind of make the circuit every week around town. So to have people with different perspectives is going to, I think, be really helpful for people who have questions to ask.
You got the people that do the hoodie and the sunglasses and keep their head down. When someone says, "Why are you buying all that?" They're like, they give them that none of your business dirty look and just check out, and they do okay. Yeah, I'm more the relationship side of the spectrum. Like, you're going to make so much more money. Just meet people, tell them exactly what you're doing. And I've only heard, I've done hundreds of episodes of this podcast, without exaggeration, hundreds of interviews with people doing this business. I've heard of 2 instances where people got a little pushback for just flat out saying, yeah, I resell on Amazon. I'd like to actually place some bigger orders rather than clearing your shelf. Could I maybe have you place orders for me, that I pick up out of the back? And 98% of the time you get a positive response to that kind of interaction. But just hearing those real world stories of people who've really done it, and it's I've got 100 stories I could go into. Just you ask one manager and they say no, so you come back the next day, you ask another manager and they say sure. Like, it's happened.
There's myth and lore out there about a lot of the stores you can only do RA at. One of them is Trader Joe's. Right. Yeah. And we had one coaching client who was like, I want to do Trader Joe's because there's like so many of them right in my neighborhood. And we don't do Trader Joe's. It's not on our A list. We do one near us. We do other stores, but we just didn't do that one. But I'd heard in the community, like, well, you got to be careful because they don't really like you, they don't like resellers. And so you have to like go kind of fly under the radar.
Right.
And so I was telling that to this coaching client, and he's a real go-getter. And he was like, he goes out, it's a few weeks go by and we get back together, and I was asking him how it's going. He's like, oh, you wouldn't believe all the stuff I found at Trader Joe's. And I said, so you don't have any problems buying in bulk? He's like, no, the manager helps me get it down off the top shelf and everything. Yep. And so, I think sometimes the myths that are out there can detour people, but the reality is you make your own reality. That's it.
The other store that has that reputation, this is my version of that story, is Target. Everyone's like, oh, Target doesn't like you put it in a shopping cart with 50 of the same thing, and they're not going to like you there. I went into Target at the end of summer, and they had a whole wall of life jackets marked like 40% off, kids' life jackets. I went to the manager and said, hey, if I bought all these, could you mark them down a little bit? He's like, oh, no, sorry, we can't do that. I went the next day, had my daughter with me, and she had one on because this is the one she wanted. She's going to wear it in our little swimming pool, so she wants this. I'm like, hey, if I buy the rest of these, can you guys give me a discount? He's like, how's 70% off sound? So we went from 40% to 70% and gave me the whole wall. A different manager.
Yes.
After one before had said no, then one the next day said, yeah, we need the shelf space. That's great.
Yes.
You're a godsend. He would have let me take it for free probably, right? So getting used to people saying no, not having your feelings hurt. Don't take it personally. Ask again later.
Yep.
No just means maybe later in retail, right?
Maybe later.
Come back.
Exactly. It's retail.
Back in again. Yep.
We have pictures of long receipts from Target. Folding and folding and folding.
Well, there's people in our community with 7-figure businesses that rely on just Target.
Yep.
But again, we want to get people into a replens business. I don't leave people with the impression that, getting those discounts, is that where the money is? No, that's a grind. That was just a one-time buy opportunity that I stumbled upon. I wasn't going to walk past the $500 that were sitting there waiting to jump in my pocket. But that's not a repeat, scalable. Then maybe we've kind of left something that's important unsaid here. We're talking about building a process, a system that you can step back from.
I just wrote a note on that because I think that is key. What we boil it down, and Robin has done a phenomenal job. She's the ones and zeros person around here. Like we tease each other all the time about we're the ones and zeros people, because that's just, the bits and bytes as fundamental as you can get. But boiling it down to a yes or no question on every evaluation point, so that not only do you get it, but then you can easily train somebody else.
It becomes a task for someone to do.
Yes, it's a task. Now it's an exercise that your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your in-laws, your sister, your whoever is helping you out from that assistant standpoint, yes or no questions. Anyone can do that, right?
Well, we've got people in other states. I know you guys do this as well, if I recall. One of the other leaders in our community that doesn't do much with Amazon, but they're into some other e-commerce things, got a couple of kids like, hey, you want to put them to work? Like, there's some stuff we can't find locally. Yeah, you guys jump on our shared spreadsheet of stuff we need this week. Here's the stores, here's the stuff. Go shop at any time you want. Give them the supplies for the labels, and they're sending stuff in. Keep track of your hours, guys. There's a great summer job for a couple kids, helping us out with our business. And because we've built systems, this is all easily systemized. And my business runs without me. It's literally been 2 years at this point coming up since I've touched a box or box tape. And we've got a very robust, replens, Amazon, Walmart, eBay. We've got a prep center. And, the only time I'm there typically is when one of my kids needs a ride to work and I'm dropping them off, and like I'll swing in a little bit, but that's how automated this can all get. You've got a good team. You put good people in place, and you've built, again, good systems, which is what we're teaching here is the system.
Right. It's the system. Exactly.
Well, what else is on your guys' mind? I think this has been time well spent. And by the way, I keep getting such great feedback from the podcast episodes. You guys do such a lovely job, and people just love hearing from you. I think sometimes like, it's just Jim today. Like, it's Robin and Brian. Yeah, it's the Coach's Corner. Because they've heard me for years. Yeah, so I always love the episodes you guys put together. You've done such an excellent job. I just wanted to get that out there into the public that I sure appreciate the professional excellence you guys have brought to this show.
Well, we appreciate you giving us the opportunity, and we're honored to be able to do it. And we just have a lot of fun.
We have so much fun.
There's no such thing as a what's it called when you get something back for?
As a truly altruistic.
Yeah, a truly altruistic task or activity. I mean, we get so much out of it. We just have a lot of fun.
We're getting way more than we're giving.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with each other doing it, and we trust me. We were telling somebody else this. We talk about it all night anyway.
Right.
So we were like, we should turn a microphone on.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
And this is an encouragement to the other coaches on our team. Some of them are a little shy, like I don't know, like. I think everyone would love to hear from, and you guys have done some interviews with some of the other coaches. Those are just great.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, I love those episodes.
Yes.
We've got some more books
heard
too.
Connect before, talking through their business models and such with the Pruitts and with Susan. It was just such great episodes. So I want to do more of those in the future. And I think we could have a team before long talking about building systems. I mean, we could have a team where we're doing a daily podcast, and none of us have to do a lot of heavy lifting. We've got the quality leaders around here. We could end up there. So people are listening today, let us know. Would you want a daily podcast? Not that you have to listen to every episode, but it'd be great to hear. Hey, what's up in the community today? And just kind of stay on the cutting edge and hear from different folks. So yeah, let us know what you think if you're a listener and you've heard a good handful of episodes. Well, any final encouragement for the listeners or anything else on your mind today, guys? This has been a very informative episode. Thanks for having us on again. We really do appreciate this. And what I was going to say about the daily podcast, when I used to commute and I had a long commute and I was after I found this podcast, I just couldn't wait for the next episode. Because it would be, back then it was like 2, 3, 4 days, sometimes in between. Yeah. Now it's much more, right? Like you've got it.
Still not every day, but it's more often.
Almost every day. And so like if I were on the road, that would be the first thing I'd turn on. And whenever we do, drive to visit grandkids, we are popping, if there were any that we missed that week, we pop them in and listen to them. We get caught up. Like I feel out of touch if I'm not up to date on the latest podcast. So
those stories of people who are just sharing how it went for them, the obstacles that they've overcome, it's amazing and so inspiring to us to see how that can happen. We're just so fed by that.
Yeah. I think it benefits us every bit as much as it benefits the leaders, and it certainly is a pleasure. It's become the primary marketing of our community. It's how we get the word out. It's completely free. So I love seeing sponsors step up and help pay for it. We went for years without sponsors, but so we helped. That helps pay the bills a little bit, but it's just people speaking from the heart. And in the industry too, just to brag about the podcast a little bit, it really is unique in that I don't see anywhere else where you hear 2 or 3 new success stories, real stories of real people who started, 3, 6, 9 months ago. Here's where they are now. And in many cases, we check back with those people a couple of years from now. That's a great format for a podcast. Why isn't everybody who's teaching business doing that? Because it validates, it proves, you guys really can do what you do. And it puts real people in front of it. You're not just listening to the same person's opinions over and over again. You're listening to new people. And it's a great concept for a podcast. I mean, not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but I listen to it when it's not me. Right? I love it every time. So, well done, guys. It's always good hanging out. See you here in just a couple of weeks as we're recording this. By the time it comes out, probably just a few days from now, the Proven Conference. It's going to be a fantastic event. Love to see everyone who's listening to this there or get the live stream. One last little warning about the conference. When the conference starts, the live stream price goes way up because people try to get in last minute and there's a long line, and we want to get people in before the event starts into the private Facebook group where you can see the live stream. We want to get all those details before the event starts because it can take 2, 3 days sometimes to get people checked in and any technical issues or whatever. So go to theprovenconference.com, July 6th through 8th. If you do the live stream, you also get all the event recordings, which we were doing the math, depending on your discount. It's way under $2, maybe about $1 per session.
Oh, nice.
For the 40 plus sessions at the event. That's a steal. So if you can't be there in person, we're taking good care of you with the live stream. Those events, those details are on the event page, the Proven Conference. All the links we talked about today will be in the show notes as well. But Brian and Robin, great job today, guys. Good hanging out with you. Appreciate you very much.
Good hanging out with you too.
Thank you so much. And for all the business building warriors, we'll have another episode for you again very soon. God bless you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Hey, thanks for hanging out today. Before I let you go, one short reminder. We are so grateful to our new sponsor to this program, SellerBoard. If you haven't checked them out yet, get over to silentjimdotcom/numbers. This is the software that tells you if you're profitable or not. It helps you track all of your expenses, your KPIs, sales, refunds, advertising costs, all of it. Profit, loss. This is tremendous software that fills a gap in the marketplace. Many successful sellers in our community are using this tool to help them know which of their products are profitable and which ones aren't. You'll love SellerBoard. For just $15 a month starting, you can really dial in and know how your business is doing. silentjim.com/numbers. Talk to you next time.